can CJ Stroud be MVP this year?
Yes. I'd say this game, unfortunately, was one where in the recency bias, you're going to say to yourself, like, did this hurt? Did this hurt his chances because of the interceptions? But I wanted to like point out a note. One of them was very much like really not his fault, right? Like tip ball, it is what it is. The other two, yes, they were not the best decisions. But one of them was definitely very 50-50-ish. Like the defender either was not going to make a play or Nico was going to make the play. Or you know what I'm saying? The defender's either going to make the play or Nico was going to make the play. Like 50-50 ball. The other one was bad ball. But it's also like, I know that every once in a while it was bound to happen where CJ was finally going to try to force something. He's human. Like you're going to try to force something when you're frustrated, no matter how good of a quarterback you are. When you consider right now the Texans, where they stand and the optic of where we viewed them at the beginning of the year, right now, there's no way CJ's not top 3 in the MVP race, if you're being honest.
I mean, I would argue that he's probably one of the most... I would say he has to be. No? Like, please
we thought they were going to have 3 wins. I'm an honest guy. I literally said 3 wins. I've always met my L's. Obviously, fat-ass L in the year on that.
He is having, like, the best rookie year ever for a rookie QB. And, like you said, like, they're not winning with they're not winning with Derek Carr. They're not winning with Mac Jones. They're not winning with Desmond Ridder. They're not winning with Kenny Pickett. Like they're not winning with those guys. Like CJ Stroud is. Look at the receiving core.
Well, it's like I have to say so many things. Like let's just be honest for a second. Mine is Laramie Tunsil. Maybe George Fant. Maybe George Fant too. Like, who on the O-line are you really for sure you're still going to actually stick to long term? Like, your entire interior, you're probably replacing.
Howard, I would say, maybe.
Didn't
they re-sign him?
So that's the thing is, I have to look into, I'm going to have to look into that. But I feel like either way, as long as it wasn't for a ton of money,
I know what you're saying.
It's like you could turn them depth. You know what I mean? You kind of like move around. I feel like you're looking at a sense where in the interior, you might be looking where all these guys might be replaced eventually. Yeah, the receiving core, you got good names, but you definitely could upgrade it, but that's what I'd be worried about. My main point is I'm saying here is, look, you have tons of work to do on the O-line. You got tons of work to do on the D-line. You got good edge rushers, but the interior, I think you still got a lot of work to do. You definitely still got work to do on, I'll say Blake Cashman's playing fantastic. Christian Harris playing good. You definitely still could add another linebacker, a little bit better. Probably placing Littleton this year. Safety situation's not great. Like, corner situation's good, but definitely improvable. Like, there are so many things about this team that are not anywhere near where they should be. I feel like to be playing where they are right now is really what I'm trying to say right now.
Well, I think another thing, too, is like, they had absolutely an amazing draft. Like CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Scruggs, who we haven't really seen that much.
But maybe he will be. Probably that's maybe their plan.
The new center, yeah. Dell, and then they just got a ton of depth at the later rounds. Like they had a great draft. Regardless if you want to argue what they gave up for Will Anderson.
This is what I wanted to use as my example here for back to our clown painters, Staley and Dennis Allen. You see a guy who's not a clown painter. Like you see like a guy like Dembico come in, and even with nothing, he says, "No, fuck that. We aren't losers. You motherfuckers understand
Shane
me.
Steichen.
We don't lose." Like there's a mindset change that happens when you have the alpha fucking dog come in, and everyone goes, "Wait a minute. Wait, we're better than we thought we were." Like he elevates us. See, guys like Dennis Allen and fucking and Staley,
Eberflus,
they do the opposite. They actually like they take guys that should be elevating, and then they start to like they take certain things away from them, and they mitigate them, and they just be careful out there, and they fucking take away their instinct. They make them way shittier.
Yeah,
it's literally glaring. Like you either have guys that elevate them, you either elevate your players, or you're a fucking pansy who makes your players start playing without instinct. And everything just goes to shit.
Well,
I'm sorry to make it so black and white, but you see the cultures.
Even Jonathan Gannon.
You're either an aggressive team, an aggressive culture, or you're very fucking lackadaisical and very careful. And we see which one, I'm just calling it for what it is. We see which one is the one that gets results in the modern NFL.
Yep. I mean, there's no chance Dameon Pierce gets his job back, right? Like, Devin Singletary is just outperforming him in every way so far. So
the Texans' run game, again, for not having a good O-line. Like, you got to love the way this Texans run game scheme.
Devin Singletary, like, I mean, you could see this as like how much was he being misused in Buffalo?
The Buffalo's had no run game forever, and this is just adding to the narrative. Yeah. It's actually getting hilarious.
Other side of the ball, I mean, Will Anderson's been playing good. Cashman, like you said, like
Cashman needs to credit. Like this man is playing probably like the best linebacker in football right now, and nobody talks about him. Like
Singletary had a pick too, right?
No, Stingley. You mean Stingley?
Stingley.
I was getting confused. I was like, wait a minute, Singletary's out there. No, yeah, because I want to talk about it real quick. Where Stingley's been a little disappointing. I think we can agree. I really had Stingley pegged out as like, that's a future All-Pro player.
Yeah.
A little bit of LSU homer bias. And I know for the fact the injury he had in his senior year is a big reason he's never panned out to being the corner I knew he could be.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, he's definitely improving a lot this year. First couple seasons. And you're seeing flashes that you weren't seeing. So that's also got to be exciting for a Texas fan.
They just have very promising pieces, young pieces on the other side of the ball. Going to the Cardinals side, I think kind of like going to that theme is like the Cardinals, even though they don't have the wins, have played better than what they're supposed to be.
You see what Gannon's going to bring.
Yeah. You see it. Kyler Murray has looked really good these last 2 weeks, honestly. Like better than I would have expected.
I was going to say, when you come back, not only from the injury, but in midseason when you had not really any time to get going with the guys, I would say Kyler's showing me like everything you want to see.
No.
And again, we talk about intangible things. If I'm going to stick around you, you have to show me something intangible that no one else is going to give me. Like I said a few weeks ago, Kyler gives you like, he has a different type of scrambling ability than anyone else in the league. He's not as fast as Lamar. He's not as strong as Jalen Hurts, but he's as nimble as anyone else. He's definitely someone I think would commit to building around because of his unique skill set.
Also,
it's almost like, why would you not, right? Like with the draft capital you're already going to have and stuff.
There's no point to, honestly, like he's young enough where it's like you can, and you already have the contract in place. It's like, what are you going to do? Like throw away this guy for the next guy? Like
he showed you can go on win streaks with him. Like, yes, was it early season stuff? Was it where the second half of the season fell apart? Just reverse the order. Like just start it off slower and start getting hot at the end of the year. The Cardinals have showed they can go on streaks. They can win with Kyler.
And the Cardinals have pieces in the receiving room. Greg Dortch, Rondale Moore, Trey McBride, Marquise Brown, like they're there. And their defense too has played
and Michael Wilson too. Like I know he's been a little quiet these past couple weeks, whatever he's dealing with, but he'll be back.
He's been good. They're kind of what you were saying. Like the Cardinals played like they've been playing all year, just with Kyler now. The next draft will mean a lot for them. And yeah, you put down that Jalen Thompson.
Yeah, to give a shout out to Jalen Thompson, the one sack, the one pick day. I mean, that's awesome. Shouts to Jalen Thompson, man.